All right, welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of How to Get Away with Staffing. My name is Colin LeBeau, president at Foxhire, EOR platform in the United States, and I've got Mark Demaree, the president of Top Echelon Software, with me. Hey,
How
Mark.
you doing? How you doing, Colin?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm loving life here. It's sunny in Ohio, so any day we have a sunny day is a great day.
We have a few of those. Yeah, a few of those this year.
That's right.
I appreciate you being here, man.
Absolutely. Love being here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. I mean, we work in a very interesting world, the world of recruiting and staffing, but neither of us, I think, we'll see, neither of us actually came from a staffing firm or recruiting background. So yeah, tell us about how you got into the recruiting world.
Oh my golly. You're right. It's kind of funny. I get the opportunity to talk to over the years. I've been in the staffing world for over 25 years, and I've talked to, thousands literally of recruiters. Very few come out of college or start into staffing like their first job. Certainly there are some, but there's always some, twists and turns along the way. Mine's kind of the same. I my background, I got a degree in chemistry and business and did some post back for polymer chemistry and became a chemist right out of college. And I didn't even know what recruiting was, and became a chemist and different jobs, environmental chemist, and then I started designing racing tires for BF Goodrich. And then I got into the marketing side because the guy that was head of grassroots marketing got head of pro racing. And anyhow, he asked me if I would like to get into the marketing side and contracting racing teams for BF Goodrich. And I said, heck yeah, man. I see how you guys just fly in and just kind of wine and dine people. I thought, oh, I could do that. So I did that for a little while. I was in the racing group for probably 8 years and, traveled about 120 days a year at a racetrack somewhere. And I got to tell you, as a young single guy, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun, and got to meet a lot of people, and did Daytona and even off road racing like the Baja 1000. Got to do all that, so that was pretty cool. And then I started getting older, got married. My wife said, "Hey, listen, if you want more kids, you got to stop traveling." So I got another job, and anyhow, long story short, I got out of BF Goodrich, was in business with another guy, and I was in a Bible study, and I met this guy named Mike Capel in this Bible study, and we became friends. And one day he called me and said, "Hey, every time I pray, it just sounds like God's telling me to have you part of my company." Well, after about a year, I did join Top Echelon. This was in January of 1999.
Wow.
And so I've been part of Top Echelon ever since. He hired me in soon after that. He asked me to be president. And anyhow, so I've been in the staffing industry for over 25 years, all of it with Top Echelon, everything. We've done a lot of things over the years, but that's how I got in, really
Wow,
Mike
man.
Capel. Yeah.
That is a cool story. I did not know all of that. Well, it sounds like you just came up on your 25th anniversary at TE, so congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Heading on 26.
Wow.
The reason I can remember it is because our son was 6. Our youngest was 6 months old when I joined. So I just, oh, well, he's 26. So I've been there 26 years. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, so racing, did you become like a big fan of racing then? Because
I did at the time. I absolutely did. I mean, I got to work with the Younchers, the Andrettis, the Gordons, the off-road racers. So it was a really neat, as a single young guy. It was a lot of fun. During some of the pro races, you'd wear those Nomax suits, and I got to be one of the guys that would jump over the walls and checking tires and taking tire temperatures, and it was a lot of fun. I did a lot of grassroots racing, did some drag racing. So I had a pretty rounded as far as racing. I mean, it was pretty cool. We were kind of this rogue group set off from everybody else, and it was just perfect for my personality.
wow, that sounds cool. Yeah, I've been to a few races, and they're definitely a fun time.
Oh
So
man,
had a
yeah.
blast.
That's why I'm hard of hearing. Back then, nobody wore ear protection. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow, cool, man. So you
yeah,
really had an interesting path into the recruiting world. That's awesome. Um,
yeah.
well, we work with a bunch of interesting characters, recruiting and staffing professionals.
Oh,
We love them. They're fun to work with. What keeps you passionate about helping recruiting and staffing professionals after
Oh
25?
my gosh. You're right. Listen, we work with a very unique and special group of people. I've never met, well, I don't want to say never. I don't think I've ever met a recruiter that's shy, you know, and not telling you, not wanting to tell you what's on their mind, right? So
Yeah,
they're very hard driven, and they have to be, right? They eat what they kill. So,
yeah,
they're street smart. They're real savvy. What keeps me passionate? I listen, I work with a great group of people, and we have this, part of our mission is to help the world work. It's kind of sounds cheesy, but it's really not for me. Listen, I've been in the business world for almost 37 years, right? I was at BF Goodrich for over 10, and I was in business with another guy for 2 years, before that. And you have to have something more than just selling software or just more than selling a service. And I truly believe what we do is helping the world work, because not only do we sell software, we provide services that help put people to work and help companies find the very best talent, help recruiters, place people in positions. So it does help the world work because we're putting people to work. But more than that, you and I know that when a recruiter puts somebody to work at a company, that company becomes a better company because they're hiring somebody to help that company. It helps that person out because typically that person's hopefully getting a better job, getting a promotion, getting a raise. So that helps them. And again, I believe it helps the family. It helps the community. If the company's doing better, they're paying more taxes. So truly, I think we're doing something just more than just selling a service or selling software. I really truly believe that we're helping the world work, and that gives me a greater purpose than just going, okay, I got to sell another piece of software. I get to make a difference in somebody's life, and that's
yeah,
how I feel about it. And a lot of the people that I work with, and some of them, they're full of life, and that's what they think.
absolutely. I mean, you can't feel bad about helping people get jobs, like just you can't. It's just awesome. It's really
No,
cool.
it is, right? You've hired people, and
Yeah,
man, they're so fired up when they come in. I mean, and we get to do that all the time, because we work with thousands of recruiters. We're very fortunate to have a lot of customers, and every time, they make a difference in people's lives when they put somebody to work at a company. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
it's pretty special.
Yeah, I love that. So, speaking of TE and how you do that, right? Like, tell us a little bit about how does Top Echelon help those recruiters that you mentioned get people jobs? Like, what exactly are you doing to help them support those candidates?
Yeah, so the very first product that Top Echelon put out, of course, this was back in 1988, was when Top Echelon actually started, and they started with a split network, and we're trying to fuse technology and community together, and that's what we've done over the years. There's been split networks, but we were one of the very first that put technology behind it. It's almost like a GPS. What was created? It was a matching system, pretty advanced back then. And you took skills and location and disciplines and industries, and you try to triangulated it in the program that was created, took jobs that had those in candidates and kind of matched them up. Well, our competitors back then, they just emailed resumes, so people were just looking through them. But ours, we actually start matching them so they got a better fit for those resumes. So
Sure.
our first product was a split placement network. And listen, we don't let everybody into this collaborative network, right? We have 4 pillars where it's quality, communication, trust, and active participation. So we vet and screen everybody that comes into this network. We have about 550 or so executive search firms, very elite, what I would call boutique search firms. And we help them share jobs, share candidates. We help them match them together. We build relationships. And, so what that does is it gives them more leverage. It gives them more reach, right? They
Right.
may make, we have over 8 million candidates that are being shared, and those are recruited candidates. So anyhow, so we have one product, which is a split placement network. And that was our very, very first product. And so we can help people connect and really be bigger than they really are, right? They have this
Sure.
leverage. If they just focus on .NET developers, well, if their employer comes to them or their client or their company and says, well, what about Python, or what about Ruby on Rails, and they can say, I can do that too. It might be out of their niche, but there's there's 1,000 recruiters, or there's another 50, 60, 80 recruiters that do that, so they can rely on them, because our philosophy is a half a fee is better than no fee. So that's one product that we have, which is the split placement network. But we also have another product, which is our applicant tracking CRM recruiting software. It's been called Big Biller for years, and we have several thousand customers. And again, it is a applicant tracking, customer relationship management, client relationship management, candidate relationship management tool, a best of breed, where recruiters can run their whole business, whether it's recruiting, business development, communications, keeping in touch, job posting. We just put AI into the software. We have automations, because our software is designed for the small to mid-size recruiting firm, and where typically the owner runs a desk, right? So they
Sure.
don't have a lot of time. So we've created a lot of automations and efficiencies into the software, so they can do what they do best, which is recruit and make deals and make placements. And they can let the administrative things, the mundane tasks, they can let the software do that, so they can focus on what they do best. Very similar, like the EOR, like the service that,
Yeah,
that
sure.
you provide. You provide a heck of a service, and you just let the recruiters do what they do best. You kind of handle all the back office piece, which I love about Foxhire. Our software is very similar. Do what you do best, and we'll handle all the administrative, all the repetitive tasks. Let us hand that over, and it's like giving somebody a power saw instead of a handsaw.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, I hear great things about the network. I hear great things about Big Biller. I'm sure you guys have hundreds or thousands of conversations with those recruiters that are using both of those. So I'm really interested to hear what you think is going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months, because it's been a very strange time in the recruiting and staffing market, the last couple of years. So what are your thoughts on the next couple months as we go to the election and job orders and those types of things?
Well, quite honestly, I don't know if I have any thoughts anymore. The world changes. What do you think?
Well, I've been hearing about this concept, and I got to be honest, first time I ever heard it. So, in working with recruiters, you get to learn all these different things that they follow and think about. But this idea of a September surge, which is the idea that as kids get back to school and budgets get finalized and we go into Q4, hiring picks up and job orders increase in September. And I'm sort of curious to see if that's going to happen, given what the market is going to be facing with the election and those types of things. So that's what I've been hearing
Hmm.
about.
I would tend to agree. I think traditionally and historically, you do see an increase in job orders. So our network, so we can aggregate all of these jobs, right? I can't tell you what any individual has, but I can tell you that typically, in the summer, the number of job orders decrease.
Yeah.
Coming out of that, job orders start to increase in the network, into the software, because listen, everybody's on vacation. Some people only have a short window to take vacation. People get back in their routines, right? So, and sometimes budgets are set as well, right? People set their budgets. So
Right.
I absolutely agree. This year, I think, is a little unique, only because the economy is a little bit slower than what we've been used to the last couple of years, for sure. So there's a lot less jobs. So there's certainly recruiters are in business development mode. That is the key. I mean, every
Right.
conversation I have almost is, I need more jobs. I'm in business development. I'm making more phone calls. I'm sending more emails. I'm on LinkedIn more than ever, trying to find new business, because my current clients just aren't hiring right now, or they're hiring very few. They're not adding any new jobs. The only jobs that they're really giving me are replacement jobs. So we're kind of unique there. The other unique part, I think, Colin, is it is an election year. And
Mhm.
historically, again, if I think back over the number of elections, it's almost like come summertime, right before the election, it's like people are walking through mud. They don't want to make any decisions. The companies don't. Sometimes they don't care who. I mean, individuals care who gets elected, right?
Sure.
But in total, I don't know if the market cares a whole lot. They just want to know who, so they know how to make decisions and what to do in the future. So I think it's a little slower now because of the election as well. Not every niche. I mean, there's some niches. Listen, government's still strong. We see a lot of job orders in construction, in hospitality, in leisure. So we're seeing in healthcare, my gosh, you just can't find anybody. We have a lot of jobs in healthcare.
Mhm.
So those are some, but manufacturing, technology, IT, just not as robust as it has been in years past. It's not bad, but we're just not seeing a lot of growth in those areas.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're totally spot on. I think it's going to be a wait and see next couple of months. I think there's going to be a lot of pent up demand and I think December is going to be gangbusters, honestly. I think December is going to be gangbusters because it's going to allow for all those decisions to be made that weren't able to be made previously. And they're going to try to squeeze those in
Yeah.
towards the end of the fiscal year. And it's going to be an interesting December for sure. I think that's what I'm forecasting with the election and just the fact that a lot of companies have just been holding on to jobs. And one of the things we've been tracking also is this idea of like vendor consolidation. So you mentioned healthcare as an example. One of the top priorities for healthcare staffing buyers was in 24 and 23 was vendor consolidation. So they had opened the floodgates for all the different staffing firms to come in and get as many healthcare workers in there as possible during COVID, and then they saw bill rates just go super, super high
Yeah.
because they just had to get people in there. And now those CFOs are pushing back on that. And
Yeah.
I think that there was an overcorrection there, and I think there'll be a little bit more of a right size happen, and they'll loosen up the purse strings a little bit towards end of November into December, especially as the seasonality of healthcare hiring
Hmm.
typically
I
takes.
hope you're right there. Yeah, I hope you're right. Hey, so you asked the question and about what do I see and what the economy's doing. There's certainly less jobs, without a doubt, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's an opportune time for recruiters right now. And here's what I mean by that is, A, you got to dig the well right before you need water, so they have to start prepping. But what you want to be is not necessarily maybe a one-stop shop, but you want to be the go-to recruiter, the go-to talent resource person for your clients.
Yeah.
And I think you go there with a full quiver of arrows. One of that is certainly direct hire, right? I think you need a network to help you source because you want to provide the very best talent as quick as possible because it's about time to hire. You want to, help that client and they'll make you it'll be a reoccurring business for you. They'll keep coming back to you. But in the same way as is let the recruiters do what they do best and let another service handle that. I think they should do contract staffing. And I'm not just saying that because, you guys do EOR. I'm a true believer in it. I know too many recruiters that offer a contract staffing as part of their business. So now they can go to the clients. And if the clients say, I just don't have any jobs, but they may have another budget. They may have a capital budget, or they may have a project coming up, and they can pull money out of that, clients can sometimes, and hire the people, and they can run it on contract.
Mhm.
And if you've never run it before, you have a service like Fox Hire or whatever to run that for you, and it's a piece of cake. You do what you do best, right? You still have to recruit, you still have the job, you still have to qualify, you still interview, and the only difference is they're on their hourly and they can run it through you guys. And so now you have a full, what I'll call a full slate of tools, your full suite of tools as a recruiter. And that way you can hopefully lock them in so they're not going somewhere else. You can provide that service. And direct hire contract staffing is a perfect combination, especially in tough times, because you're giving them an option. They may not want to hire full time, right? You may not have the budget, but you can hire on a short term basis. And if they offer contract staffing, I think that's a great way to do that. And I know a lot of recruiters that do that very successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. And that has actually been very helpful to a lot of our the customers that work with us. I'm sure collectively as a group, contract staffing recruiters in general, but to avoid consolidation. So, if you're a buyer of staffing services and you have one, vendor that can do contract staffing and direct hire, and then one that can only do direct hire, the likelihood that the one that can only do direct hire gets eliminated from the mix is a lot higher.
Right.
And so, we see a lot of that. And like you said, in the tough times, and a lot of people have thought this summer has been a little tough, especially on the direct hire side.
Oh, sure.
We've seen a lot of success with the recruiters that work with us. For Fox Hire, July was the best month of the year so far for us, which means that collectively the recruiters that worked with us had the best month they've had too. So
Oh yeah, and look at it this way too. I look at it as, over the years, I've had recruiters call me and go, "Hey, Mark, I'm thinking about getting out. Right? They need an exit plan, and they're asking me, "Hey, I need to sell my business. What do you think I can sell it for?" Again, I have the opportunity to talk to thousands of recruiters over the years,
Yeah.
and 20 years ago, they could sell it because if you had a database, you could sell it. Now you're not selling it for anything. I've seen a number of recruiters retire because they have a contract staffing as part of their business because they have, residual renewable type income that's always coming in, right? It's very predictable as opposed to a direct hire business. Not that you can't sell a direct hire business. I absolutely believe you can. But boy, if you have a contract staffing type of a business and you have a book of business, recruiters have an exit plan. And I've known a couple just recently that sold their business, and that was their exit strategy. That's their retirement for,
Yep.
till they're done.
Absolutely. No, 100%. I mean, recurring revenue creates the
Oh, I
multiple
love
of
recurring
EBITDA.
revenue.
That's that you got
Oh
to get
yeah.
recurring revenue, and that's what contract staffing is. And so, yeah, once you get talking to those financial guys, they want to see recurring revenue, they want to see EBITDA, and contract staffing does that. Whereas direct hire, it's sort of you're on a hamster wheel a little bit.
Well, and you're a well-rounded recruiter too. And again, I think being a part of a network, an elite network, it gives you more tools. Again, like in our network, if you make one placement a year, you've paid for your fees for multiple years after that. It's a no-brainer in my estimation.
Absolutely. And I think I heard that your group is getting together here in the next couple months, right? When's your next event?
We are. It's in September actually, and we're having it in Canton, Ohio. Typically,
Woo!
we go around the country, and depending on because we have business in just about every state, so we try to move it around. This year in September, it's going to be in Canton, Ohio, at the Football Hall of Fame, and
Cool.
they just built a new kind of facility in the last probably 4 or 5 years. And they have a new convention type center there, and it's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
excited for it. I know
excited.
we'll be there for the opening night, so that'll be awesome. And I would encourage anybody that is in the network or just in recruiting in general, great event and opportunity for you guys to meet with some other professionals, get some training. Football Hall of Fame is a pretty cool place too, so maybe we'll see you there. But if not, we hope you found this valuable, and we'll see you next time on How to Get Away with Staffing. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.